And salutations, class, and welcome back. How's everyone doing this evening? Warmest welcomes to Storm, Marky, Levy. Glad to see all of y'all. Let me double check and make sure that audio is functioning. There we go. And y'all should be able to hear some sparkles in just a moment here. If it would. There we go. Alright, everything is in order. How's everyone doing this evening? Oh, and Mal, welcome to you too. We're hopping back into FireRed this week. It's going to be a pretty cool week with just mostly carrying on a lot of the streams that we've had prior. I have a good chance to fit in something big and fun for Sunday. I don't know if that's just going to be more fighting games or possibly even a game dev stream. So where we last left off, we handled a whole bunch of the island gimmicks as well as finishing up the 7th gem. And we are currently making our way back to Pallet Town and Viridian City accordingly. Our whole team is great. We're very, very high level with just about everyone at this point. It should be just about the time that we finish this stream. We'll probably be in a very good condition to go catch Zapdos, or we even end up doing that for the latter half of this stream. And I think we can just go with whatever Zapdos we end up grabbing. Previously, I've thought about doing a whole big grind just to get the nature and individual values and stuff like that right. I don't think we need to focus on that too hard. Let's see, who do we want on points? Nitori's been doing very well. Blocky. Amulet coin, but I think you can have the lucky egg. Right, that was the plan. Sidewinder is so close to leveling up one more time, so if we have her out first with the lucky egg, then she should get that full experience in no time. I've been looking into a lot of Pokemon things lately, and luckily, one of the other ROM hacks I've been looking at has gotten a very important update. I've also been talking to a few friends about other things we could lead into in the future. But I have a feeling once we're done with this, I will confess, I don't know that I have too much to do after, like, the mandatory post-game quests. We all know that we end up going through a lot of the other Sebi Island stuff, but I don't know how much I plan on continuing FireRed after that point. A big reason for that is that I'm excited about getting onto more ROM hacks in the future, including starting up on... yeah, Surf we can use. Starting up on Tohomon Purple, since we ended up getting into that about 3 years ago, and never finishing it. Okay, never mind, I think we are going to need something a bit stronger than just a Surf. Get it! Mal has also recommended a couple of other creature catching games. Depending on how schedule changes end up happening, I might have more time to give for y'all for streaming. I posted some very good news earlier in the Discord. Can I talk to him like this? No. I cannot challenge him while I am still on Dragonair back. Or Blastaway's back, they both have Surf. But it's looking like my schedule should clean up to where I should, hopefully, be able to do a few more streams for y'all. My schedule is going to be changing, and from the looks of it, unfortunately, I don't think I'll ever, or for the time being, I won't be able to squeeze in like a 7-day stream week or anything like that. Just with how my schedule's gonna end up going. That burned some time. But I should be able to regularly do longer streams for y'all. Couple of hours into Beastie Ball, and it seems pretty decent, although it has been a little repetitive. Yeah, monster collectors are gonna be like that. I'm glad there's great creature designs, though. I've seen some Mons games where they're a little unimaginative, and then some where it's absolutely iconic. Admittedly, I still have a weakness for Cat Zerker all the way back in Monster Sanctuary. I like the designs in Aethermancer as well, but I think functionally most of them are derivative. They do seem to be just transcribing mythological creatures directly into the game with mostly an interpretation on the existing version of them, rather than trying to twist around some new fantastical things themselves. Which also works. I mean, that's basically half of Digimon designs when you think about it. Sorry, I'm just so frustrated from not catching anything. From a lot of the Emerald stuff I've been playing lately, I think I really like the FireRed font a lot more. The sea cleanses my body and soul. Emerald is overall a better game, though. Goodness, that's still piping hot. Peppermint tea with honey, as is the usual this evening. Yeah, it should be probably the next battle we get into. We end up getting the level up for Sidewinder. Or maybe this one. Tentacruel's pretty strong. Do you have a particularly favorite creature game, Mal? That's what I'm curious about. Also, let me double check and make sure that YouTube is coming through. Seems like it. We shall wait for Kahila's arrival then, I suppose. Yeah, Blocky does kind of need the EXP share. I think we'll be good enough in the next battle. Yeah, Monster Sanctuary was such a great time. There's still a good bit of training we could do on quite a few of the monsters that we had. There we go. Huh? A battle? Ian, can't you do it alone? I suppose having the EXP share here doesn't make much of a difference. Or does it mean that Blocky ends up getting a majority of the share here? Just Thunderbolt the same target. If you get a KO, then we just end up swapping. Good on ya. I don't know when I'll fit it in. With the schedule change coming up, I do think that there will be a lot more room for me to just do much, much longer streams in general. Also, here's a weird take for y'all. There's a possibility I could end up doing streams like 6 hours earlier than usual. Just with how my schedule's gonna end up changing. Come on, sis, you're not gonna lose weight like this. We didn't get that level up, did we? No, we did. Wait. Is it 50? Is it flat out at 50? I think that might be the case. I wonder if they've ever changed evolution levels across these games. Ruby Sapphire Pokédex, looking at Dragonite. Oh, it's level 55, not 45. So we got a ways to go. I think that does mean we do want to end up doing Elite Four after evolution. I don't know what the Elite Four are like the first time around. You want to know if the fish are biting? I suppose we can end up getting there if we focus on specifically Dragonair. Because yeah, Victory Road should still have a lot of trainers and a lot of experience to grab. Still, once everyone is up around that level, then that's where we go end up catching Zapdos. Maybe we end up using this stream specifically to focus on getting everyone trained up, maybe even going through Victory Road. It would be funny if we went all the way through Victory Road, then caught Zapdos, then came back around. But once everyone is approximately level 50 is when we're going to be doing that. even though a lot of the mons that will have help in catch are not going to be level 50. I think Snorlax and Magneton just end up resisting Zapdos the most, and therefore have the best chance against it. $55 though, 55, got it. Almost out of Thunderbolt, so I think we'll have Blocky take point after this. I wonder if we end up getting a net negative on experience. Like, if we split between the Lucky Egg and the EXP share, that might be the case. Everyone's got to get some level ups in here. We'll see what other trainers we can run into as well. I don't think we get to do 4 or 5 and all the other islands until after the post-game. What I do want to see... Oh boy. It's gonna be one of those battles, isn't it? I do want to see if we can squeeze in anything more on the islands before we continue. We probably can, because I know that that's where Moltres has moved to. Moltres is on one island now, rather than in Victory Road like the original. There's a trainer like this in every game. 6 Magikarps. I wonder if there's one with, 6 Feebasses. Because Magikarp also shows up in Hoenn, if I remember correctly. So does Pokemon as a relatively regular rotation sound good for y'all? It's looking like the schedule's gonna fill up enough soon where I might have to be. And I mean, I'm obliged to stream 5 days a week, which, well, after the good news, might not end up being an issue. Yeah, Psychic, because we don't really have to worry about super effective damage here. Not like Magikarp's gonna be a problem. Honestly, not a huge Pokemon fan. That's fair, Mal. And I had been taking a break from it for a while. So the news I put in the Discord, the very, very good news, is that I'm finally moving to a different position at work, which will change my schedule around, most importantly to where I'm no longer going to be there at 4 AM for 5 days a week. Which is the most common reason why I'm not streaming a lot more often. I am tired. I have a physically laborious, very early morning job. Who do we find here? I know you find, like, Tangela in this patch of grass, but is it anything else interesting? We've already grabbed Tangela before. Yeah, I've posted the news in the Discord server. I've not that, I suppose, is our formal announcement on stream. I wasn't wanting to talk up a huge storm about it. I get to visit Mom. How you doing, Mom? Or my tea. I need that to have way more ice, because that is still scalding hot. It's going to have a 30% chance to give me a burn, so... Really, really quick informal break right here as I go get more ice for it. Oh, well, that's goofy. Y'all heard that too, right? So, I was playing Tamagotchi right before the stream. And it seems like it was still being picked up by the capture card, even though I wasn't playing it. Let me, turn that off real quick. Tamagotchi is this Friday, by the way. There we go. That is a lot better. So unfortunately, Mom, we don't have any particularly special dialogue now that we've gotten home, so thank you for the heal. We're off to face the championship. At this point, yeah, why don't we just fly our way out of here? And I'll tell you why. It's because we don't have access to a PC right here, I believe. I don't think there's one in Oak's office, right? I mean, the assumption is if you're back at Pallet Town, you probably flew here. I was surprised the first time I was playing FireRed myself, though. Coming back home and making the full loop like that is really, really sweet. On a lot of the other games, you kind of have your starter town in a little nook or cranny somewhere out in the middle. And you don't usually have a reason to directly cross back by it again. I like that Kanto's... I really like Kanto's layout in general. Like, just looking at the map, that fact that we have this whole open section on the right side, and then we eventually make our full circle way all the way back around. Really, really cute. Alright. Viridian City, the sequel. And we've just had our heals, so... Actually, you know what? Between Sidewinder and Nitori, I think we've got our contenders for destroying this next gem. Let's not worry about the EXP share here. We want Sidewinder to get essentially the lion's share out of the group. We will give the amulet coin to Nitori just as a potential backup. Viridian Gem's leader returned! And y'all already know who this is. So, let's begin. Lots of ground types here for us to fight. I hadn't been in this gem so long I forgot it was basically more of those, rocket hideout puzzles. Funny enough. Your Pokemon will cower at the crack of my whip. Crack of my whip? Oh wait, he's a, circus ringmaster, right? Tamer! Okay, that's interesting. Bit of a darker tone early on. Also, that's a poison type, that's not a ground type. Do we just have more villainous mons as the ones we encounter in here? It's funny, we don't get to use Dragonite's significantly higher physical attack until we can end up using Fly. Because I don't think we get any flying type moves prior to that, and then other than that we'd get, what, Return? But the Bolt Beam combo is practically unstoppable. Even then, we can't use Dragon Claw. Like, we could, what? Use Dragon Breath, which only does the same amount of damage, or even slightly less, compared to Surf and Thunderbolt and Ice Beam. So until we can use Dragon Claw itself, we are a little strapped for good attacking ideas. And that attack boost doesn't even help us. You know, I think... there we go. Do we have a speed tie here, then? Interesting. Come on, come on, come on. Darn it. Alright, we'll swap you out. Nitori will do a lot better in your stead. Actually, Marissa gets to come out. So the overall change with the new work schedule, it's gonna vary a lot more potentially. Like, the days I will be able to stream are more liable to swap around quite a bit. However, on the days that I do get to stream, I will no longer be under so much pressure, or I will be under a lot less pressure, to end at our usual ending time. So it looks like the schedule might change to while I won't be able to do designated days quite so often... oh, right, we can't even go back. Let's just get a little... Are we... there we go, there's the hyper potions. So instead of being able to do 5 streams a week or so, or even 6 or 7, which would have been the optimal idea eventually, it seems like the more likely situation is going to be karate is the ultimate form of martial arts. I should still, on average, be able to stream 3, 4, maybe even 5 days a week. But I'd be able to stream for much later into the evening, rather than just stopping after 3 hours. So you can expect, like, instead of 5 3-hour streams, we could end up doing 3 5-hour streams. I'll try to fit in more streams where possible, but they might have to be at different hours of the day, or we'll see. I'll make room accordingly to make sure that things work. That was a scary vital throw. Overall, the most important change should be that I shouldn't be sleepy all the time. I will be able to get a lot better sleep schedule, and I will be doing less physically laborious work. Okay, here's the catch, though. On some of those days, the reason why I wouldn't be able to stream every single day of the week is because sometimes I will be on a closing shift, a late evening shift, which would end usually after what would normally be an ending time for a stream here. But, and I'll inquire into a lot of y'all for this, I will technically still have room to stream late, but it would have to start at like 11 p.m., so about 4 hours from now would be when I'd sometimes be able to start, so maybe I reserve those nights for when we end up doing fighting games, since I know a lot of fighting game players are pretty darn nocturnal. Overall, I will try to be relatively healthy about my schedule, so it might end up just coming back to 3 or 4 days a week. Yeah, this was what I was looking for. Lots of rock and ground types so we can surf through them, and easy. You're not a ground type yet. Can Dragonite learn Psychic? I know a lot of Mons you wouldn't expect to learn Psychic can learn Psychic, but I don't think Dragonite's one of them. Because I've definitely never heard of Dragonair using Psychic. Also, really cool thing. My boss for my new position. Well, one big thing is that my schedule should be a lot better in general because I'm going to have a lot less involvement on... Or, the department I'm moving to has far fewer hands in it, so it should be a lot easier to figure out, like, days off and such. And in fact, my new boss has already said he's going to try to make it to where everyone in the department should get 1 weekend off per month. So we might even have times here and there where we end up having huge party weekends where I stream for like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You know, if that returns us back home, turns out that wasn't the way we even had to go. Let's get a refill on all those PP for Dragonair. Another big thing. I will be making more money in the newest position, which I can put towards immediately buying new games, just on a whim once they come out. One of the issues I've had for not so much now, but through a lot of 2023 and 2024 I was trying to save money as much as possible, and wasn't able to buy several games immediately upon the release. Things like Armored Core, I know a lot of friends wanted me to pick up. Some fighting games here and there. In fact, you might even be able to chalk that up to a reason why we didn't hop on to, say, Silksong immediately, for example. Also, I'm probably going to be buying a Switch 2 soon. No idea quite yet what we'll be doing with it. There's plenty of games out there that I am looking forward to playing more for y'all, like Kirby Air Riders, Donkey Kong Bonanza, or even just the Switch 2 upgrades of a lot of games, which will run a lot better. After all, what, Breath of the Wild has been out for how long? 9 years? And I still haven't had a chance to play it, nor Odyssey, nor Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom would have been another game that I wanted to play on release, but was trying to save up money, so that's why we end up playing a lot of indie games, for example, rather than buying every single new $60 release right when it comes out. Easy, just click the surf button. And then Sidewinder might just be able to clobber the entire Giovanni team by herself. Though I know his team varies quite a bit, but now I think he settles on mostly ground types. I know, like, Nida Queen is the big squeeze that he's got. Roar! I'm working myself into the rage. And yes, we will fight every trainer. Used to be when I played these games originally, I wasn't quite so concerned with doing that, but gotta get as much EXP as possible. Even from a Machop, that's strong. Also, why is that still a Machop? You're past the level where you could even evolve into Machamp. I'm scared of another Revenge, because that will definitely KO. We will survive that. I think it's funny that Seismic Toss's most common reputation comes from it being on Chansey of all Pokemon. There we go. And stop learning Safeguard. There we go. Let's grab that Psychic TM, see if we can end up using that here. Okay, so Sidewinder cannot do it. I know you said you're not too interested in Pokemon stuff, Mal, and I get that. I completely get that. It is very popular among the rest of my friends, and it does lead into some very interesting streams soon, so this is the point in time where I will be picking it back up. Also, towards the end of the month is when we should be picking back up MechWarrior as well. The new DLC's release date has been moved to, instead of like 1 week from now, it's going to be about 3 weeks from now. Towards the end of the month. And then that will probably, as long as mods aren't falling apart, always be a stream for us to come back to. Yeah, not a complaint, just a note. Yeah, everyone has streams that I put out that they're not less interested in, I'd say, rather than necessarily not interested. One thing I do adore all of y'all for is that I've even seen some names from folks on streams where they wouldn't normally be too interested in. It warms my heart so much that y'all pop in, even if it's something that you're marginally less interested in. I'll play around with it a bit. But yeah, maybe the sweet spot does end up being that, the less story or episodic streams. Things like doing various fighting games or late-night dungeon crawls with friends on a multiplayer game. Those might end up being reserved for super, super late at night now. The friends have been talking about Viridian again, and you know what? I'll show my hand. I just picked up Far Far West with a few friends, which a lot of friends have been enjoying. So depending on what ends up coming to mind, that might end up being our stream for this Sunday. Though, more realistically, I am thinking about, why not make it something like a Deadlock or fighting games, because we haven't done a group fighting game thing in a couple of weeks, have we? Last week we did Gensokyo Reloaded with Fuse, if I remember correctly. And that was about it. I just realized Nitori's been holding the EXP share, right? Yeah. Let's go ahead and fix that. Everyone else is going to be behind now. I think we've got, yeah, one more trainer before the very end. I'm the Karate King. Your fate rests with me. Funny enough, we potentially have a good EXP grinding opportunity here if we voluntarily lose to Giovanni, but no way I'm letting myself do that. I can see why focusing on one Mon ended up carrying so many little kids now at this point. Just about 10 levels above everyone else we're fighting. Almost doing too well. Now let's swap and hope that we don't get hit by pursuit. Okay. I can't remember if Machop was one of the Mons that learns Pursuit. Gotcha. Executor will do well against the rest of the gym, too. And that should be... that looks like that's it prior to Giovanni. So, one more trip to the Pokemon Center. Everyone healed up, and Dragonite gets to take on most of the gym by herself. Between Surf and Ice Beam, it should be super effective hits on everything. As long as we get to move first. But y'all remember the Arcanine that we had in Blaine's gym was really, really high level. Right, and now the circumstances have changed. Now we do have to go all the way around. Alright. Here we are. Wahaha! Welcome to my hideout. It shall be so until I can restore Team Rocket to its former glory. But you have found me again, so be it. This time, I'm not holding back. Once more, you shall face Giovanni, the greatest trainer! So he says, but I don't believe him. And heck, we'll get plenty of level ups on the way there. Rhyhorn gets one hit KO'd. I believe there's like 2 Rhydons as well. I know Nidoqueen's gonna be basically the biggest issue. Oh, Dugtrio, fast. And still slower somehow. That's like a base 120 speed, if I remember correctly. Yeah, easy sweep. Really, isn't that supposed to be your strongest? Wasn't the Arcanine like level 47? I suppose the challenge here is having more high-level Pokemon. Oh, Nidoking's a little bit stronger. Got it. That might KO. Not quite. What a fearsome design. The Nidos are very, very great Pokemon out of the first gen. And for the longest time, they were the only ones that had the ground poison typing. A+. I have a lot of my hang-ups about Gen 1. I think the Nidos do their part very, very well. They also were trying to incorporate that sexual dimorphism very early on, which later ended up being on a lot of Pokemon with the same dex numbers. Really, a level 50 Rhyhorn. That's interesting. Ha! That was a truly intense fight. You have won. As proof, here is the Earth Badge. $5K? The Earth Badge makes Pokemon of any level obey without question. It is evidence of your mastery as a Pokemon trainer. With it, you can challenge the Pokemon League. Also, take this TM. Consider it a gift for your Pokemon League challenge. TM26 contains the ever-so ubiquitous and important Earthquake. Welcome back, Tween. How you doing? It is a powerful attack that causes a massive tremor. I made it when I ran the gym here, far too long ago. And that goes on just about everyone that can learn it. Okay, not on Nitori, but it will definitely go on Marissa. Now that we have a better alternative to dig. We're doing very well, Tween. Tonight's a cool stream. We start getting close to the end of the game here. Though, I do want to squeeze out a few more level ups here and there. Mostly so that we can get Dragonair to evolve into Dragonite, and so that we have our team roughly in good shape to go capture Zapdos. But I hope you're having a wonderful evening too. Yeah, and then once Sidewinder evolves, then we get to go on the journey for leveling everyone else up. So now I don't believe we explicitly have anywhere else we have to go. I do want to see... Yeah, let's head over to Vermilion and see if there's anything we can do on the other islands. in case there's any stray trainers here or there that we can talk to. Yeah, we can use Fira as the temporary Flymon. I always wondered why Mirror Move is a flying type move. Like, it seems like it would be normal. I don't know if it's supposed to be a reference to birds trying to mimic things. It's a really, really weird thing. Maybe it's some sort of a pun in Japanese, because I know there's a lot of specific moves that reference certain things like that. Like how Aerial Ace is named after a samurai technique, something we learned from our friend Kahila a few streams ago. Ah, you have a tri-pass. Would you like to board a Sea Gallop Ferry? Let's check out... Let's see, I think we've been everywhere on... Yeah, 2 Island is exceptionally small. I think we traversed basically the whole of 3 Island, right? Let's check the town map. Yeah, we did the Berry Forest. So yeah, we still have some things to look at on 1 island, because I know that you can get to Moltres at the very end here. We'll keep the fly as just an emergency escape option. After all, as sad as I am to say it, even though we just talked Earthquake to her, I think Marissa is the Mon that we leave behind and swap out for Zapdos. I'm beginning to get a sunburn, so yeah, quite a few trainers around here we haven't fought yet. More EXP to farm, and then once we end up evolving Dragonair. Well, actually, yeah, Dragonite ends up being our flyer. But y'all know we have to have Zapdos. I'm not finishing a run of FireRed without capturing Zapdos. Gotta have my number 1. Or, would y'all want to make that like a post-game thing? Because a lot of the Pokemon we've been running with so far, we've kind of kept for the whole run. Like, ever since Celadon, our team hasn't really changed. And Marissa's really cool. We can maybe focus on Zapdos afterwards in the post-game. The Elite Four should get up to what? About level 60 or so by the time we get to the end of them? This is Kindle Road. Go straight for Mount Ember. Yeah, quite a few things we haven't been by here yet. My lunch filled us up, so will you battle us for some exercise? Also, rocks to smash here. If I remember correctly, we actually get rock smash here, even though it wouldn't have been mandatory for the rest of the game. I wonder where we get waterfall, too, now that I think about it. Yeah, very little bits of experience here and there. So I think the only attacking move that Zapdos has is Drill Peck. So yeah, Magneton ends up being our best tank against it. Or anything else with a quadruple flying resist, but... what else resists flying? Rock? Fury Swipes isn't actually a bad pull from Metronome. Especially if you get 4 hits out of it. Level 50, we're almost there. Well, that was some nonsense. Playing J-Rogue PG. Tell me about that one, because I know I've seen you playing that a lot. And yeah, it sounds like a roguelike JRPG, but that sounds just up my alley. So I'm intrigued. On sunny days, I step out and gaze upon the volcano. That's my daily routine. We've spoken to you before. Someone gives us rock smash here. Hi, sightseeing, are you? Isn't the warm climate here great? Young people all want to go off to big cities, but I want to stay here forever. The islands out here are remarkably quaint. I love them. You look like you'd give me rock smash. On this island, there's an enormous volcano. It hasn't erupted lately, so why not enjoy a hike? Alright, I'll look it up specifically. You know, I remember having to interact with Rock Smash a lot more. It's very interesting. Okay, the Ember Spa. So it is further up. What it says on the tin, that's what I imagine. Make your 4-character party do a dungeon dive repeat. Unlock new classes by fulfilling certain requirements each dive. I mean, short, sweet, to the point, but that does sound like my kind of thing. One of your characters got mind-controlled and then counterattacked himself in response for lethal. On the subject of being like a roguelike, I imagine it has a lot of the miscellaneous interactions. I was reading such a good post the other day. I forgot all of what it said. Something about how authentically the roguelike thing is all the random procedural generation coming together to make hilarious but tragic interactions, I think was the way it was put. Where because it's 100 different minuscule things interacting, eventually you end up with some way that a run gets absolutely vaporized by RNG picking the funniest way for you to die. Something very much like getting noited. But yeah, that sounds like it. Getting mind-controlled and then self-counterattacking. That's weird. I have no idea how that would work. That can happen, but you found the runs are pretty stable so far, other than one particular overtuned enemy. And that's what a lot of games have trended towards. I don't know how I feel about that. On one hand, it's great, and I will admit that lately I have been getting a lot more upset at, I've been playing Noida off-stream again, by the way. Just to get in a little bit of practice, and that could be another game that we just end up putting in here and there as I have the whim to play it. But yeah, I've been getting a little ticked off at Noida lately about just deciding to screw me over because the game feels like it. There isn't a day in which we don't train. Also, howdy Usagi, how are you doing this evening? Delighted to see you too. I don't think this is one of those generations where we get less experience for being over-leveled, right? I think the Generation 5 EXP tables did that. Shouldn't be an issue here. I am better than ever, Usagi. I'm having a wonderful weekend, well, a wonderful day. I had a wonderful weekend, and this week that we're entering now is going to be wonderful too. Haven't figured out what I want to stream for y'all on Sunday yet, but I do want to stream something. most likely it's going to be a fighting game thing, or game dev, or far, far west with some friends. Noida is mostly an endless well of knowledge checks rather than so much randomness, but it's pretty uncommon to go, oh, that thing is new, I wonder what it... It immediately kills you. I mean, knowledge check is one thing, but I'm referring to specific interactions like, something that's happened to me more than once is the going through the frozen cave and then a worm comes out of nowhere, eats a propane tank next to you, which explodes and kills you. I've had way too many runs where it's not even something I can be prepared for, I'd say, that ends up ending my run. Literally just this weekend, I also ended up in another situation of I had my best run in at least a year. I even managed to get the All-Seeing Eye perk, so I thought, okay, since I haven't gotten Tinker with Wands everywhere, I'll go to this specific area, which is normally incredibly dark, and fight my way to the boss, which gives you an item that lets you craft with wands anywhere. Well, things were going great along the way until I ended up fighting an enemy that was an animated wand that had Nuke as one of its potential spells. And that didn't kill me. The ensuing earthquake did, with all the rocks toppling down on top of me. And unless I had like a super overpowered LARPA black hole wand or something like that, there wasn't any way for me to prepare for it. With the maze-like structure of that level, I immediately turned around and tried teleporting out. But the entire area was crumbling around me, and so I ended up getting squashed by the physics objects. But yeah. And I do love that Noida has just, as you've said, an endless well of knowledge checks. Even the cool things like wandering into parallel universes and such. Parallel worlds, not universes. Still, with everything that game has, it does feel like there's plenty of times where you were killed far before you were able to prepare or be warned for anything. And that is part of the charm. But it does upset me how difficult it is to get any sort of a stable run. All I would ask for is, like, one guaranteed location to find a healing spell in some part of the map. A lot of people head into the fungal caverns. Right, Surf only attacks the enemy team in this game, right? It only had the enemy team highlighted. Yeah, interesting. Survive, Blocky! No! Probably wasn't a good idea to send out a normal type against two fighting types. I was hoping for that psychic to hit. There's a lot of classic roguelikes as well where you get gnome with a wand of death situations. Random low-level enemy just happening to get an incredibly overpowered weapon which will destroy you. I think that stuff has its charm. Maybe if it was overall a bit more reliable to get a decent run going, then I would be a bit less upset about getting completely screwed over at random. We're gonna fly back for a heal, just save a little bit on buying healing supplies. We gotta hop by a Pokemon Mart before we head into Victory Road as well. That's also about an hour into our stream, so... Nah, we'll wait. I've still got a little bit more tea to get through, so once I get to the end of this glass, should be about the time we get to the very end of Mount Ember here. Then we'll take our first break. Another one of my biggest issues with Noida is how little that game respects your time. That's also why I haven't gotten into Fear and Hunger, which otherwise seems like just up my alley. Both of them. Both the incredibly grueling dungeon crawl of 1 and the... This is an immersive sim disguised as an RPG of the 2nd. Dress appropriately for battle. Lose that frivolous outfit. I know Fear and Hunger is extraordinarily difficult and unfair, and while I do love a game that you can deep dive for hundreds of hours before you get to see everything, I feel like Fear and Hunger does stack it a bit too much against you. Or at the very least, makes it kind of less entertaining on the way there. Whew. What other games are on the list to play soon? Since I will have a much more open budget, yeah, I do want to put in a Switch 2 game or two. Maybe I'll put in some... Yeah, I think I'll put in some polls in the Discord after I get a Switch 2. See if y'all want to dive back into Kirby-related things. After all, Air Riders was fun, and I do want to actually play the game rather than just occasionally borrow it from roommate. When do we get our hands on Waterfall, I wonder? I know you don't dive in FireRed, but there should be Waterfall at some point. In fact, I think it's needed to get through, like, Cerulean Cave and such. It's found in 4 Island. Okay, so it is a post-game thing. I didn't think it would be this quick, but with the lucky egg, yeah. He says. I lost because I'm pooped from all the running I did. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Oh, Slay the Spire 2 is another game I've been hearing about non-stop, which seems like it's gonna be fun. Wait, don't tell me this was actually our healing spot. I kind of remember this being a designated area to heal. Oh, there we go. So we did just waste a hyper potion. Yeah, but we'll be alright. It's just one. Ah, this is heavenly. The water warms me to my core. You should jump in too. Go to the middle, relax, and get good and warm. My favorite part of bathing comes up right after this. I enjoy a bowl of chowder to warm me from the inside, too. Hot springs go hand in hand with volcanoes. The Ember Spa here, well, I made it years ago. I hewed the pool right out of a gigantic boulder by hand. I was using this at the time. I suppose I can part with it. That shatters boulders as if they were made of crackers. Now, who gets to use that? I mean, we're past the point where we really need to be worrying about that, so... Oh, only 20 base power. That's saddening. Don't you end up getting it super early in Hoenn? Was it even an HM move in the original Red and Blue? With thus discovering it so late, I almost feel like it might not have been in the original game. I gotta look that up. Because I'm surprised we never needed it for Rock Tunnel. I almost remember that being in there somewhere. Okay, looking up Pokemon Red Rock Smash, I'm only getting results for FireRed. So I guess it just wasn't a move in the first game. Interesting. That explains why it is such a high HM number. A lot of the other ones show up in the order you expect to find them. Crush Girl rather than Battle Girl. Interesting. I've not played FireRed in so long that a lot of these names and trainer identities have really fallen out of my memory. Like the very, very rare jugglers or rockers or electricians, or even the tamers we don't find very often either. There's a lot of trainer classes in this game that we don't ever see again. Well, aren't you tough? We haven't played Aethermancer in a long time as well, and that game's had a lot of updates since the last time we popped in. That's something I should experiment with. We'll start off with, like, just fighting games, but if it turns out a lot of friends are more available at very, very late night times, then maybe we can use that opportunity to go back and revisit some games that are things we play just for fun. After all, there is still a little bit more we can do in Genso Wanderer, which is mostly just the new content we get from the Park on the Moon. I want to play more Wario games, Usagi. Unfortunately, there aren't many Wario games in the first place, is the thing. Also, sorry to tell y'all, I currently do not have plans to explicitly play a Wario game for this year's Streamiversary. This one's going to be a bit different. One, for the 6 months prior leading up to that Streamiversary, I have been working hard, I have been working a lot, and that is a big reason why I've got promoted to a new position. I have been working more hours these past 6 months than what I'd normally get on average for the past few years. So I am tired. I do want to take a little bit of time to rest. And what I'm thinking so far for the Streamiversary celebration is I'd like to start up another Minecraft server with everyone. Like what we ended up doing, what, a year and a half ago? I'd like to curate a bit more of a mod list before then. And I'm thinking just take it as like a... just have a whole weekend where we just play Minecraft. If I end up getting that whole weekend off as my boss promises, then I'll pick a time around that. Oh, trust me, Usagi. If I could do this full time, if I could just stream 40 hours, for 40 hours a week for y'all, minimum, if this was my main source of income, I would love to do 24-hour streams as a celebratory milestone a lot more often, trust me. That was one of the most fun streams I've had. Definitely top 10 streams I've ever done. There's some other strong contenders for that, like the Halo 3 playthrough for charity back at for a little bit of fun, not for charity, but for fundraising for a friend back in 2024, I believe. Yeah, 24-hour stream was great. Made even better by the fact that we had so many things line up right around that time that we could just do a huge roster of so many different things. Doing the boss rush, doing all the Guilty Gear Strive stuff. The fact that I managed to make that last 24 hours was exceptional. Can you imagine if this volcano were to erupt? The explosion would be the end of us. How terrifying is that? While we're terrified, would you like me to teach explosion? No. That is, in fact, too terrifying. Also, it sounds like we're gonna need someone to use Strang. I guess we do have to temporarily make that a thing. We'll go back to the move deleter later. To be honest, we don't actually need Hydro Cannon. We taught it last stream, but that's not a useful attack whatsoever. Yeah, Water-type Hyper Beam. But we are not playing with the rules that let us switch. Over here. We'll try digging here. At treasures the admin's been talking about should be here. What the? You're in the way. Get lost. So it will probably be more of like a relaxed full weekend of getting a chance to Minecraft with all of y'all. No necessarily like throwing in a Wario game or something like that. Might even make it like a Minecraft for a while and then we end up doing some fighting games later at night. But I would absolutely love to start up a new server with y'all. And keep that going for a long time. Maybe even make that a regular stream thing. We should be getting... Yeah, we should be basically finished with FireRed around that time. So we should have one stream slot open up at the time to make room. We'll play everything by ear, of course. But all in all, I know a lot of the regulars are here in the stream by this point, that I do want to tell everyone how much I love y'all. How much y'all mean to me, how much streaming means to me. And how much happiness this brings me. Also, really good news. I will be working more hours in total with my new position, but it should be, one, better hours for me. There are some times I'll have to end up going in early, but it won't be 5 days a week. Yeah, Sidewinder's just close to leveling up. Should be one more battle. On top of everything else, I should be a lot more rested. And I can resume doing game dev stuff in my off time when I'm not streaming. I guess we might need to use Rock Smash. Alright, alright. For the time being... Aerial Ace we can reteach pretty reliably. We want to forget TM moves, since we can always just throw the TM back on. And the move deleter isn't going to be a very difficult trip away. Smash that rock with your scythes, I guess. Weird that Scyther of all things gets that. An active volcano is one that's erupting, or about to. This guy's got a lot of Pokemon, so yeah. This should be where we get that last final level up we need. As well as potentially access to a whole bunch of other HMs, given that I think every move that we have on Sidewinder here is learned from a TM or HM. Yeah. So until we start using, well, heck, all of the best moves we would want on Dragonite are HM moves, right? Phew! That was hot. Sweat's erupting from me. It's obtained in Victory Road. Okay, so by the time we get there, we will be able to put it on Dragon Claw and Dragonite. Finally. I don't think Dragonite inherently learns Dragon Dance in this generation, does it? I've been in training so I can mend my broken heart. It toughened me up physically, at least. Hiya! Trying to do some research on the side in the middle of all this. Yeah, Dragonite does not in fact learn Dragon Dance by level up, so it is an egg move. Which is naturally learnt by Seadra, Gyarados, and Altaria. So not too many options. We're not going to focus on trying to breed it on there or anything. We're not raising a whole new Dragonite. I have seen some progress with ROM hacks lately. One of the ones that I've been playing on the side does combine FireRed and Emerald, essentially. Just got an update which fixed a lot of bugs in it, and it's looking like that would be a very, very fun future stream, being able to play both games in one. I love FireRed, but I don't think I have a huge attachment to this specific playthrough. Well, that's useless. And that is a very rare find. In fact, so rare that I'm going to catch you out of having a grudge. In my original run of FireRed, this was the only, and I mean only, Pokemon that I did not have in my decks. Because Magmar's a Leaf Green exclusive, and my sister never went out to go grab Magmar. Let's see if we can do a Great Ball first. Okay, yeah, I think we will need an Ultra, and... well, let's get another Ice Beam on there for good measure. Smokescreen. I'm gonna miss the shed skin shenanigans. You're close enough to Scyther's level that I don't want to risk it. We don't really need the false swipe. It does look like we should be able to get another Ice Beam out there just fine. Please hit. There we go. Perfect. We don't really have a reason to be catching at this point, but I've got a grudge to settle. I can finally say I ended up getting a Magmar in FireRed. Which is interesting that Magmar, the fire one, is not in FireRed version. Alright. This should be a guaranteed catch. I need to look into the biggest Pokemon ROM hacks out there. Like, that's an entire new world we could go into. Found near the mouth of a volcano, this fire breather's body temperature is nearly 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit. Ah, I should have named him Moby Dick, because that was my white whale. Yeah, that's just a one-way path to get back. I can't remember if we have much of a dungeon run here before Moltres. Or if this is the dungeon run, and I don't have that much farther to go. The ominous single block wide path seems to indicate something. You know what? Yeah. Get in that quadruple effective surf. You're so close to leveling up, and I feel like Moltres is right around the corner, in which case we will be turning around. We're not focusing on catching Moltres here. I do have one friend who plays a lot of Pokemon ROM hacks, so it would be cool going through a lot of them. And I do want to see if I can rope Ame into playing a Pokemon game or two. One idea that we have been building towards lately is doing a lot more stuff together, which we might not be able to do streams at this time frequently enough. But with my schedule change, I should be available in the earlier afternoon and morning, which should fare a lot better for being able to do things with them. So, eyebrows wiggling. Expect to potentially see more Ame and Xander shenanigans in the future. Why not? We're basically here anyway. And there we go, 10 levels in just a couple of hours, although that was primarily focusing on just Sidewinder here. Hands off the controller. We'll fight our way up to Moltres just to see if there's any other trainers that we run into here or there. And then turn our way around. And look at that. Sidewinder's trying to learn Wing Attack, actually. You know what? Yeah. Rest won't be useful anymore since we don't get to abuse it with Shed Skin anymore. Arrived one battle away from Big Dragon? Indeed, you came in at just the right time, Tyr. Now I do believe we have our very explicitly strongest member of our team. Inner Focus. If only it was own tempo. That would have been wild. If Dragonite had been able to outrage without getting confused. Okay, so we do have more to go on. And it looks like they're throwing us into a Sokoban puzzle. How you doing, Tyr? How's the Barony going? I'll actually poke you and Fuse in the chat. If y'all are wanting to just squeeze that in this weekend, I can do that too. It'd have to be on Sunday night, but if that is something y'all want to do like within the next 2 weeks and start again, I think that would be a delight. That first run was a bit too easy, I might say. I do want to see y'all try it with more experimental classes. If there was any particular battle style y'all enjoy. Yeah, a lot of the custom classes have really, really interesting things they can do. I love Barony so much, and I'd say that out of any multiplayer game I have, that is absolutely the game I would always drop if folks were looking to play it. And I'm glad you're having a blast. So there we are, there's Moltres. We will not be fighting Moltres. Bought the Hermit DLC, sounds like a blast. We cannot fly off the top of a mountain. Okay, I see how it is. Yeah, I get it, it's classified as a dungeon. So perhaps in a... Wait, that just... That barely sent me any bit downward. Can we fly from here? Okay, we can fly from slightly down on the mountain, but not on the actual peak itself. That's weird. Hermit DLC is the most recent one with like the Bard and the Bard Gnome and the Salamander and stuff, right? Right, Hermit DLC, because that was the one that I was playing with the Mushroom guy. Bunch of fun classes in there. Yeah, it seemed like it was a dungeon within a dungeon there. I mean, the rest of that was classified as exterior, so we could fly out of that. And speaking of fly... Never mind the wing attack. You get to use something even more powerful. Alright, before I forget, we need to go talk to the move deleter in Fuchsia. It advertised Duck, and you prioritized Duck. Duck is very important. Eventually, I got to the point of not needing to use Duck on that, character, but, I think it still eventually works. We were just playing it so slowly that we did get to have that huge advantage by the time we got to the end. Alright, we'll get a couple of the moves we don't need deleted. And then we'll hop on our first break. I think they're in this town. It's a shame that there's so many spots where you need HMs, like, even after you get through the game. Even in just the towns right here. No, it would have been one of the guys down here, right? That's the fishing guy. That's the warden. Where was the move deleter? Because I know they always have a sign outside. In the house next to the Pokemon Center. I didn't even scrutinize this one. Oh, yes, I'm the move deleter. Let's get rid of that strength. Actually, we're probably going to need that for our trip through Victory Road. Let's keep that on there. So let's forget the Rock Smash on Scyther, since I don't think we'll be needing that. As well as Cut. If it turns out we end up needing them, then yeah, we'll put them back on. I think Scyther... Well, no, I can't even say that Scyther's the weakest link, because Scyther has an incredible stat spread for being an offensive attacker. And there's been plenty of times in which Scyther has just cleaved through enemy teams with ease. I think it's more so the fact that we don't have a good bug-type move to put on here, so, like... Once we get to Scizor, then we can abuse Steel Wing, but beforehand, not so great. That other ROM hack I've been playing does bring back all of the newer moves, movesets, learn sets, mechanics, abilities, stuff like that. So, in that game, you can get a Generation 3 Scyther that has Technician, and can use Technician Wing Attack, Bug Bite, stuff like that, since that's actually brought back from future games. I guess Blocky's technically the weakest link until Evolution. It's the same situation with both Scyther and Blocky here. Also, I finally come up with a nickname. Just because I have Kirby on the mind. The only way to bring freedom of choice without risk of being forever trapped. I've been so upset with the whole way that, the whole HMs can't be forgotten situation has been. HMs are such a cool idea, but I wish they were handled a little bit differently. Was it like that, or was it with 2 Z's? I almost want to say it was with 2 Z's. Yeah. Reference to our little Scrimlow from Kirby. How very cute. Alright, let's not leave y'all with the ominous Lavender Town music. We fought all the trainers on one island, it looks like. So, I'd say the squad's ready to go. Let me put up a poll for y'all. Do we want to focus on Zapdos now, or go through Victory Road, or... Yeah, I'll put up a poll for y'all. Alright, I'll put up that poll for y'all. Our team's in a very, very good situation to where we could just grab Zapdos and then head our way through Victory Road. But if y'all think we need to keep, Marissa rounds out our team so very, very well. I almost want to say maybe we let Bugsy sit this one out until, Metal Coat? Yeah, and then we could evolve Bugsy very, very quickly afterwards. I love everyone that we have on this team. You know what, I think that'll be the case. I think we leave Bugsy behind just because, yeah, 89 speed. I think a lot of our other Pokemon are kind of getting up to or past that point by now. Yeah, even Nitori is even faster. It's not going to be much of an issue once we have Scizor. But y'all check that vote. We're going to save, we're going to go on our next break, I'm going to get a refill, and we will be back in just a couple of minutes. Alright, sliding our little way in. Let's see what that poll says. Looks like we are doing Victory Road first. That should make sure that everyone has a good enough level to accompany us there. Alright, in that case, I guess you technically don't need Surf much anymore, Sidewind. But with all the rock types we got in Victory Road, that's going to make a huge difference. Alright, anyone can go on point now. Let's get a few more levels for our potentially weakest Link. At least until evolution. It's a shame... Oh, wait, not that. And since we're less focused on just trying to speed as much experience as possible, yeah, we'll distribute around the EXP share as is necessary. So here we go. I wonder, do they give you any direct indicator that this is the place you're supposed to go to next? I mean, it's just juxtaposition to the 8th gem, I suppose, makes sense. Oh hey, trace the runaway, I will take that. Oh boy. What? Xander, what a surprise to see you here. So you're going to the Pokemon League? You collected all the badges too? That's cool. Then I'll whip you, Xander, as a warm-up for the Pokemon League. Come on. I'm pretty sure nothing on this team beats a level 55 Dragonite. Hey, it looks like he's got a pretty high set of levels all around. That won't do anything. We don't even use that attacking stat. Yeah, Pidgeot's not scary. Pretty cool that he does use some mons that he's caught from the very beginning of the game. I think he swaps out his team quite a bit throughout the course of the game. Like, he tries a few things to see which works and which doesn't. I already know who takes care of you in one fell swoop. Confident in the team, but you get the feeling Zapdos would make battling or capture... You get the feeling Zapdos would make things... Oh. Horn Drill, of course. Out of spite. Zapdos can be a little bit difficult, but we did formulate a strategy a few streams ago. You are right, though, in that if we got a few level ups, that would help. So what we end up doing against... let's see. Actually, wait, like... Blocky could trace Intimidate, but I don't think it works like that in this generation, does it? Like, we trace Intimidate, but it doesn't trigger. It's just... we get to have the passive effect of it. That might not KO, yeah. Blocky's really sturdy. Really? I did not expect that to not KO. Alright, Sidewinder, you got a tank. So our strategy for Zapdos' only good attacking move is Drill Peck, which is quadruple resisted by Magneton. We have Magneton use Flash and Screech a whole bunch of times to lower Zapdos' defense and accuracy. Then we can swap in Scyther for a few false swipes, and Executor for Sleep Pattern, due to the greatly lowered accuracy. A lot of those attacks shouldn't be an issue, even if both Scyther and Executor are weak to Drill Peck. Yeah, fine. Dragonite sweep, I'll take it. But yeah, a few more levels should help for Zapdos. You'd be surprised how well we were doing last time, Tyr. Also, how the heck did Alakazam survive a stab fly? I thought Alakazam was supposed to have no physical defense. Alright, this'll one-shot. I hate to do this to Venusaur, just because of how much I love Venusaur. 53, okay, so he was kind of high up there. Wow, okay. Maybe Sidewinder isn't as quite as powerful as I was thinking. Also, that's only a, what, 70 base power attack? Yeah, it gets stronger in the next couple of generations. It goes up to like 90 base power. What is the strongest flying type attack that Dragonite gets in this game? It's probably still Fly. Yeah, unfortunately that might be the situation. What? I was just careless, you. And you don't have a big dragon. That loosened me up. I'm ready for the Pokemon League. Xander, you need more practice. But hey, you know that. I'm out of here. Smell ya. The incredible smug energy of just strutting off with your theme music playing. Your Gyarados against Lucamine's team and Moon, even leveled? Did you get a good Dragon Dance or two in there, or was that just a very, very good type matchup? I know I've had a couple of times where a good Dragon Dance or Quiver Dance or any sort of setup like that just ends up demolishing an entire team. And I've had a few times like that here and there. Heck, even this stream, Sidewinder swept the entirety of Giovanni's team. I'm so glad Trace actually got better to copy one-off abilities in future games. Also, wait, look at those trees. Is this the only time we find these specific trees? Isn't that a Hoenn sprite? I feel like this exact tree is only found in Hoenn, and nowhere else in this game. Oh, that is the Boulder Badge. Go right ahead. You can pass here only if you have the Cascade Badge. Oh, there it is. Perfect accuracy and less HP survivals. That checks out. Eh, why not? Just for the ritual of it. You can pass here only if you have the Thunder Badge. Oh, the boys got it. Hidden item in the grass, and we can't pick that up. Maybe we did already grab it. You can pass here. Oh, it's because we already ran through here previously after we got the third badge, so we're not getting stopped for any of the previous ones. You can pass here only if you have the Rainbow Badge. Oh, that is the Rainbow Badge. Okay then, please go right ahead. Our proof of our abilities to surf. You can pass here only if you have the Soul Badge. They really build up the hype in this one. Okay, seeing the responses, yeah, it does look like we have some pretty egregious delay. That's a shame. Looks like I am suffering from some bitrate issues, though. Yeah, like the delay might be a couple of minutes, or 1 minute. Alright. I think I will have to figure out some other solution to the multi-streaming then if we end up having bitrate issues like this. It looks like we're not getting any sort of stutters or anything like that, but the delay just gets worse and worse as time goes on. You can pass here only if you have the Marsh badge. Oh, that you have. I guess there's nothing interesting on this route. Yeah, just a little bit of surfing that we get to go through, and then no grass on the side. It's funny that we have things like Psych Up, and then very few use cases for him. I think it's just an issue tier with me multi-streaming. Because it's just my connection streaming to both YouTube and Twitch. I'll see if I can find another provider, because what I did end up doing in the past was there was one place I could talk to that would just stream to both YouTube and Twitch for me. If I only have to stream in one location, then essentially I get double the bit rate, right? Or more explicitly, my bit rate isn't just outright cut in half. Live, Blocky! Darn it. Alright, I see how it is. Two minutes? Wow, that's upsetting. Well, luckily Pokemon isn't something that we need too much interactivity for. Well, alright, I am not streaming tomorrow, and with some of the spare time I have here and there, I'm gonna figure out what ends up working. And now that I know I have more money from a new position, I am willing to put a little bit of money aside for a service to help me do that. So we do have some tall grass here. Ah, I hate it. I wonder what determines how well Pokemon can keep you trapped, because it seems like some species are aggressive and some not. You can pass here only if you have the Volcano badge. Oh, that it is. I think all the statues say the exact same thing, which would be funny. Yeah, just wanting to check if there's anything interesting. You can pass here only if you have the Earth badge. Victory Road Gate. Ah, and we don't have any sort of healing right beforehand. So, let me grab this first. We'll go through until we run out of revives and such. Unfortunately, we are going to need quite a few of these, and we might need to just do a lot of grinding. And even make multiple trips back to the Pokemon Center before we get to the end here. Luckily, our Pokemon are strong. So as long as we can get some super effective matchups here and there, we should be good to train. Yeah, you've got the lucky egg. It's just speed, always has been in the runaway challenge. That's weird, because it always feels like some species have been more aggressive than others, but like, a predatory Pokemon you'd expect to have a high speed stat anyway, so yeah, that checks out. Why is the Machop here like 8 levels lower than everything else? Those Fearos were kicking our butt. I think that's a way back. We can't push the boulder that way and expect anything to come of it. So I think we just want to give an EXP share to our Pokemon that don't have, like, quadruple effectiveness against rock. But Nitori and Executor can go out doing a lot of damage to them. So, rather than just completely lose our PP left and right, if we can speed run to the end, we have a spot up there at the end of Victory Road that we can heal. Then we can come back, grind for a little bit, and get our levels up in general. So yeah, completely not in that direction. Onyx in general should be worth a lot of EXP, so... We haven't found any Zubats either, which I think should be weak to Psychic, right? I mean, yeah. Well, yes, we know it's weak to Psychic, but I feel like this is a place we should run into Golbat. The heck is that? Oh! This looks like a spot right here. I have an idea. See, I don't remember any of this, but I think we gotta push the boulder onto the button. And then that should lower that little ridge right there, right? We're gonna run out of Giga Drains very quickly. I think we do just want to keep Nitori and on point. Just for being able to surf all these guys away. Yeah. That's what we get for focusing so much on Sidewinder, but now we do have an emergency reserve win any battle Pokemon, which we kind of need here in Victory Road. We could get screwed over otherwise. Yeah, this is set up exactly like a little Sokoban puzzle. I notice in a lot of caves like this, like Victory Road and such, where we end up running into an encounter wherever, I tend to lose track of things so often just because it's such a long animation getting into battle. And that's why repels are important sometimes. Just to make sure you don't get lost in one of these darn caves. Here we go. Let's get you on point. I think we will just have to take a very long and tedious process to get through here. This will probably be the rest of our stream, just going through the remainder of Victory Road. Then, once we do that, we're set up properly to challenge Zapdos, and we have our last little friend to help us through the Pokemon League with. I knew Marissa was the right call. The move. Just accuracy, just damage. So you've got a lot of Pokemon, that's cool. We will have a lot of opportunities to just get a lot of experience out here, it looks like. Activate Guts, I will take that. Machamp never got to learn Drain Punch, did it? Which is a shame, it would be a very good user of it, and we know that from Conkeldurr getting that opportunity. Yeah, why not? I think we will need to escape a rope out of here and just grab a whole bunch of healing items before we head in further. Yeah, because a lot of our team does seem pretty under-leveled here and there. Well done, Marissa, but now I think we actually do just use an escape rope. I don't know how long this Victory Road is. It's been so long. Yeah, one Hyper Potion. We're not getting through here just the first try. Unless we wanted to sweep everything with Sidewinder, but that defeats the purpose. We want everyone on our team to level up. Close that gap. I wonder if Viridian City sells better stuff, or if we have to go just down to, like, Cinnabar in order to get the good healing items. I can't remember if it's just... Yeah. We don't have basically every shop updating. So all the way back here. As we heal up, we'll also take a drink. So yeah, we'll want like 20 whole Hyper Potions. Yeah, we got the cash to spare. Revives are always useful, so yeah, we will just grab a whole bunch of them. And that could set us like well into the late end game just as well. Everything else here seems fine. We'll get full restores once we get to the Pokemon League itself. And we gotta go through that whole route again. But 20 Hyper Potions should be plenty. Now the issue is how close we'll get to running out of PP. The trainers are going to take the most out of that, so even if we get like halfway through the first time, we should be good the second time around. Funny that the bike doesn't even override the music here. I don't think it does for the surfing either. Yeah. This is just an important enough situation where, yeah, gotta have that music playing. So in that case, let's have someone other than Marissa on point. I think just by level, Sidewinder is our fastest mon. FireRed's been a quaint little time. But yeah, every time I'm looking back, I can't help but feel like Emerald has aged way better than anything else in this generation. Even Ruby and Sapphire have held up remarkably well. But so many of the mainstay elements like the berries and day-night cycle and stuff like that, the fact that they didn't have any inclusion in FireRed is pretty disheartening. Because a lot of people end up liking this, this region, this generation the most. And scroll all the way down. We might have to get rid of just a couple of these items here and there. Dire hits and such. Things we're not going to use in battle. Surf easily enough. There we go. I wonder why they made both rock and ground types. Quite a redundancy when they share a lot of the same weaknesses. And strengths, even. There's a Golbat. I knew we'd run into one eventually. Does Blastoise ever learn Crunch? That seems like a pretty natural evolution of what we've been doing so far. Also, surprised that didn't KO. No, we do not get Crunch. So Bite is just our one good dark type attack that we get. Thank you, Bugsy. Surf has plenty of uses, no need to worry about it here. Yeah, at this rate I do have pretty high hopes for how we get our experience by the end. Marowak... we can probably get a one-hit KO. Yeah. If I remember correctly, I think Marowak has strictly worse stats than Sandslash. Which is funny. They had to give it a unique item later on to make it contend. Speaking of Sandslash, the effort values and super effective attacks give us just enough oomph to get those one-shots. And every PP that we don't use matters. Huh. We're given a dilemma here. We only get to pick one of these the first time we're around. And that is the one I'd like to have. That was just a guess. I didn't even know that that would be the Dragonclaw TM. Cool, I wonder what's in the other one. Also, we have almost every TM by now. Now Sidewinder should be able to kick some extra butt. Which, you know, Dragonclaw just casually uses your special attack in this gen. Which ones are we missing? We're missing 7, 10, 15. We've got most of them. I think this is the biggest reason why Victory Road feels so long. It's all the encounters. We'll risk doing another Ice Beam. Might get a KO, might not. Into the trainer battle. I can see you're good. Let me see exactly how good. I'm glad they eventually switched that over to Ace Trainer, cause what the heck is a cool trainer? Just a trainer who's cool. I think it was 4th generation it was changed into Ace Trainer. Makes way more sense. Interesting find. Probably not gonna live that. Yeah. Well, boy, do I have a type matchup for you. Huh, cute. Wonder if this means you're gonna have a War Turtle, probably. Where do these starters come from? Because you never find them in the wild anywhere. Yeah, look at that. Cute. Blocky, I know you can take this on. Still knowing Water Gun is weird. Wait, Blastoise feels like it's the Pokemon that would... like, the Pokemon to learn Hydro Pump, but does it? Okay, level 68, so it is way, way further down the line. But it does happen. Keeping them unevolved for so long does give them the opportunity to learn these moves, though. Like, if you didn't have access to the TMs, this is one way you could make it happen. I remember I bred a Torchic and traded it over to FireRed. Then leveled it up without evolving just to make it learn Flamethrower without having to burn a TM for it. I think that's also the only way you get Spore on Shroomish. And Breloom. You have to wait until after it would normally evolve. And then a few more levels. Hey, good on all y'all. So this has already been a pain to get through. And it's just the first floor. I think Blocky can take care of itself. We'll give Kageyama the EXP share just so that we can have a grass type that can fare well against all these rock types here and there. Actually, yeah, I think it'll be Blocky we have to keep in reserve for the Elite Four. I don't know what Blocky's going to be able to do that the other team members just can't. And generally being kind of weaker. Though versus like Arbok here, Blocky can do well. Porygon 2 is great, but we just can't evolve Porygon yet. I love Porygon, but this is definitely kind of a train after the post-game kind of Pokemon. I've felt the power creep catching up. What are the implications of stockpile anyway? Like, are you just grabbing food from around? Because I know it leads into Swallow or Spit Up, which is a weird set of moves to have. Also weird that Arbok of all things learns it. This here is Victory Road. It's the final test for trainers. Technically that would be the Elite Four, but go off key. Hey, Daisuke! Cool to see his history before he went on to develop Guilty Gear. That might KO the Macho. Okay, not quite. Yeah, we might have to hop back and come back through a couple of times just to get some more of the PP that we'd be needing. If we swap into as many advantages as we can get, though, we can conserve it. But if there's any time to use all those ethers and elixirs we've been picking up for the entire game, now's the time. I'm also wondering how it ends up factoring into the Elite Four battles themselves. I know in the past I've sometimes had some trouble keeping all the moves with enough PP to get to the end. Achoo! If you get stuck, try moving some boulders around. Already been doing that. So there's one of the missing TMs. You are either a bird keeper or an electrician. Give Blocky another chance to shine. $48. Wow. You know, we probably still win this with just a couple of ice beams. KO? Not even close. Blocky could have survived that. We might even just need to get, like, close to the end and then have Sidewinder carry us the very last bit. Because she's still got plenty of uses on all of her moves. Ah, so you wish to challenge the Elite Four? Juggler is not what I expected. Anything works here? Does Porygon even learn Tri-Attack this generation? Okay, knowing that we can't even get the 2-hit KO there. Why not? Versus a lot of Psychic and Poison types, I think Bugsy can do fine. Also kind of sad to see that our best attacking option for Scizor is going to be like, what? Steel Wing? Next time, start off with the Swords Dance. Hardy enough. Nicely done, Bugsy. It's a shame we don't have Bug Bite this generation. Silver Wind would have been funny. It's so weird coming back to Gen 3 and seeing how much, or how many holes there are in the design. So many types that don't have good attacking moves. Lacking the physical special split. Lots of stuff is missing from Gen 3. I do see the huge advantage of all these newer generations, or all these other ROM hacks grabbing generations from, or mechanics from newer generations. I don't know, what was stumbling me so much there? You'll get a bit of shared experience, but we all know Marissa takes this fight. It still always felt to me like Golduck should have been a water psychic type. It learns some psychic moves, doesn't it? I don't think Psych Up counts that much, but... I can't remember its dex number. Can't look it up. Blocky's not doing too well on point for the moment. We'll give you the EXP share again. I think it might just have to be Blocky for the moment. 55, it learns Psychic then, I take it? Yeah, that checks out. Is Victory Road too tough? No, but it's long. Goodness, this is a pain to get through. Okay, this ain't bad. Oh, 55 is the dex number. Howdy, Jedi Mega Man. And thank you for telling me, Tyr. Yeah, the stream delay is wild. Okay, yeah, it learns Confusion, so I knew it learned a Psychic Attack at some point. You know what, we'll let Blocky take this. But how you doing, Jedi? You copied the trace stability, sure. Sure. I feel like roleplay might be... This is technically a ROM hack Jedi, but it's mostly a FireRed Definitive Edition. The ROM hack we're playing is just basically bring all the Leaf Green exclusives over to FireRed. As well as some other creature comforts like infinite use TMs and stuff like that. But no, this does not bring back the physical special split or newer moves or learn sets and stuff like that. It's mostly just what is the most convenient way to authentically play FireRed. Also, aside from just condensing all the encounter tables together, it's not like you're gonna run around finding Hoenn Pokemon in this game, for example. I don't know that I've ever seen any other Pokemon use roleplay. Okay, so it is on only Kadabra and Mr. Mime. And Stantler, apparently. That's weird. Nah, it's not Ultraviolet. I have been thinking about grabbing some of the newer ROM hacks as well. I've only played a lot of the Gen 3 and 4 ones, though I imagine the newer generation ROM hacks have some really wild stuff going on. Huh. I know we're also missing TM05. I wonder if all the weather TMs are in here. Like, they just wanted to save the weather mechanics until you got mostly through the game, since that is the Gen 3 mechanic for them to have added. There we go. I knew that had to KO. Yeah, the stream delay has been all over the place tonight, Jedi. I don't know what's causing it to happen. Weird that it seems to vary. So, what the situation is I have it set to lower the stream video quality if I'm ever not getting enough bitrate going through. So, it should not have any weird lag spikes or stutters. But it does mean that we end up getting an overall larger delay by the end. And howdy, Blaze. Yeah, at this point, Golduck could definitely use an evolution. Lots of older Mons could use another one on top of what they've had. I mean, they did that with Ursaring into Ursaluna. So I see it being possible. With how popular Gen 1 is, of course. And I know Psyduck has always been popular because of it being one of Misty's Pokemon in the anime. Heck yeah, Blaze. Voice acting's really cool. I used to do it frequently enough on stream, and we do it sometimes whenever we have RPGs with a lot of diverse characters. Yeah, you can stay in front. I heard rumors of a child prodigy. You love Ursaring? That new Evo made your day? Aw, I'm glad you're delighted. They even gave 2 forms for the new Ursaluna. Oh, well. Nothing we can do about this matchup. That's the spirit, Blaze. I haven't given up on streaming. This has been the absolute love of my life for the past almost 5 years I've been doing it. Yeah, it's been 5 years minus 1 month at this point. And it has absolutely changed my life so much for the better. I can say it definitively. Don't give up on your dreams, which... Your dreams might manifest a little bit differently than how you want them to. None of it's ever going to be easy. But if you keep doing what you love, as I have, you will find happiness. So the light screen there is a problem. Let's try to get an earthquake out here. Well, cool to see people developing fighting games. That's on my list eventually too. I'd say it's the hardest genre of game to develop. Unless you want to count like big budget, open world kind of things, but those by definition require a large crew. Also, I don't know if they categorically fit into a different genre, per se. We'll take the sleep, give us a few free turns. Grass types are remarkably good in earlier generations, or at least if you're just fighting the AI. With all the shenanigans you can throw out there, just using sleep powder as much as possible. We keep going until we get through Victory Road. This one's gonna be a heck of a mountain to climb. Good on you, Marissa. Everyone getting some level ups. We're doing good. We're doing good. It's a shame Giga Drain's so weak this generation. I miss the 75 base power and 10 PP days. That's cool. I'm glad that people in general seem to be more open to developing fighting games. I've had dreams of making a platform fighter on the back burner for a while now, and with my schedule change coming up soon, I probably can get back to it. Of course, I've adjusted my plans a little bit accordingly, but I know what things I can develop on it for coding-wise before I have to worry about visual, sound effects, aesthetics, stuff like that. There's still plenty of cool things I can program. What do we got? A max revive. and an opportunity to spread a lot of health around. We had a full heal earlier, didn't we? There's an American manga company making a fighting game based out of their manga series. That's also cool. I'm surprised I'm not hearing more about these, though I do know a lot of game dev projects don't get to stay in the run for very long, as much as they should. Oh, there we go. I was wondering where this boulder goes. So, we've tried fighting a few of the wild Pokemon that we've had here and there, and it hasn't gone... Well, I mean, it's gone overall right, but we are running out of PP a lot. Saturday AM manga battle. I'll check it out. I'm always down for more fighting games. I played a lot of very budget Discord fighters with friends, so to say. That is going to be either a scientist or a Pokemaniac, in which case, Executor's probably still our best bet. If you can get through here, you can go meet the Elite Four. Given the timing that we have at this point, I think we get up to the Elite Four themselves. And we might have to call it for tonight. Even though I don't think we will have had a chance to fight every single trainer in here. Maybe we come back with a lot of repels to make this whole process a lot easier. There's still that one item that was behind a boulder at the very beginning. They really made this a difficult trek. Wow. I do not have anything super effective I can do to you, so... Look at that Lapras sprite. He looks so happy. I don't think that was the idea you wanted. Sure, I'll take it. I've been hearing a lot of good things about the Avatar game. The girlfriend install is the meme I keep hearing, which is incredible. Ah, darn it. Oh, well, we lucked out. Blocky pulling through. Mentioning boulders, you regret not holding 2 packs in Barony. Yeah, the boulders are the biggest issue. If you can try to keep 1 pickaxe on you at all times, or 2. Incredibly important. Alright, Parasong is not particularly useful. We know Nitori basically resists everything Lapras can have, so... Oh! I didn't even know the AI would do that. That's cool. We're running low on surfs, too. Coming out in July, so I guess, yeah, I do play that on release, too. We should have open time in our schedule by then. So what class seems to be appealing to you the most so far, Tyr? I know you've been playing a lot of Barony left and right, and I am excited to... Oh, that's what I forgot to do. I forgot to DM the other folks in the Barony chat and see if if Fuse was open to doing some more. It looks like we're almost to the end. I'd hope so. Or maybe we're only halfway through. This could just be an absolute hassle to get through. No, we're in some familiar spots. I recognize where we are. We did not hear a sound when we pressed that button. I think we do need someone a bit faster than Kageyama in the first spot. So, back to putting Nitori up front. After all, we don't want to waste those attacks on wild Pokemon. Heck, Bugsy could take on most of them, too. Currently in Warrior, polearms are decent, plus usage for bows, got some thaumaturgy and mysticism sometimes. If you play your cards right, then just about everyone should be able to pick up some casting by the end. Of course, it's more difficult and very RNG dependent. Whether or not you can find all the right books you'd be looking for. Oh! That takes us back down to the first floor. Okay. No! That was... We took ourselves backwards! That's what we did! Well, at least we can go grab the other item over here. I wonder if we have any repels. We might just need to stock up on a lot of them, just make this a lot easier to get through. They gave you a spot to use strength that was only one way. Yeah, slimes can be a huge pain. If they start charging up their big attack, usually you want to run around to their side. Or run away if you can. A rare candy is a great item to find. Okay. Escape rope. We'll grab a whole bunch of repels and then come back through here. Because of all the speed issues we've been having here and there, it's been difficult to keep track of where we're going. So let's make it a speed run. We will have to go right back in. Annoying. Something is buggy with one of the class unlock triggers in J-Rogue PG. Not sure what you missed, but it's annoying to run some of the bad classes with just the intent of unlocking later stuff. That's why I like a lot more of the very, very traditional roguelike formula, where you have everything from the beginning, and it's mostly just like knowledge and experience gaining. We'll buy another couple of escape ropes, just in case. We should be able to get through there with 20 of them. Alright, let me grab another real quick refill on the tea, and we'll be right back. And sneaking our way back in. Has some win within X run achievements related to winning quickly with unlocks and stuff. Ah, yeah. I can see that being a pain, Mal. Friendly fire is absolutely a thing tier. It is a very, very classical roguelike. Like, the only thing that separates Barony from, like, a game of NetHack is the fact that you are playing in first person and you get to move freely across the grid, not bound by the actual squares of it. But yeah, it's entirely just randomly generated encounters, items, stuff like that. And yeah, that includes being able to have all the friendly fire stuff happen. And as you've personally experienced, boulders being pushed into people. Even from your friends. Alright, we're making it through this time. So, we know how to do all this, and I think, sadly, we're gonna have to... Wait, we could have even given the, cleanse tag to our main Pokemon. We've already got the repels used, so we might as well take him. Either that or a goblin shot you from afar, or the level 20... If they had a fireball staff, that's probably what ended up happening. If you were in the swamp, though, then fireball staffs are very common among goblins. Or it could have been... It could have been one of the wall traps. I think there's fire ammo in that game, so it's entirely possible you could have been shot by that. I think you should also be able to check the log, like, right after you die, if you don't have it set to automatically re-roll a new run every time you die. And you can check to see what ended up hitting you. Okay, this is so much better without the encounters. Okay, we've got a button here that we do want to get a boulder onto, but is that even possible? So this means we did find a Pokemon that was a higher level than us. That's cool. Hey, it means we only get high experience mons that we fight. Oh, I think we come around to the other side and then push that boulder up into there. And then that's how we get to that spot right there. Okay. I was deceived so much by that ladder that was there. Ah, that ticks me off. I don't know that we need that boulder anymore. Overheat's a great find as well. And this at least has us a way to get... Well, no, because if we go up that ladder, then we don't have a way back up. The fact that these boulders reset every time. Wait, they reset if they're off... Oh my goodness. That's cruel. That's just plain cruelty. So I guess we gotta push them both down there. Yeah. The boulder reset position once it got off screen. Learning so many things I'm unhappy to learn. This is going way quicker with just the repels, though. And even if we run out, we'll just remember to keep the cleanse tag on us. I do like the convenience of being able to just immediately use another one once the first one runs out. Can we push it up the steps? Yes, we can. Ah, but once we do that, wait, we can't push it to the other side, can we? Yeah, because it's only 2 spaces right there, and we can't, like, pull the boulder, can we? So yeah, once we have this pushed up... do we have to go all the way around? No, we can't. So how do we get a boulder on that one switch over there? I think we can ignore it for now. Let's just try to get to the end. After all, we are currently at the 3-hour mark, which is usually the end point for the stream. And then the boulder respawns off screen again. Ah! At least this way we're only getting strong enemies to fight. So we will have to push this all the way up over there. And be careful with our Sokobaning. You better stay there. I think they get locked into place once they get put on a button. Alright, let's try to have someone else take point for this one. Trainers live to seek stronger opponents. Oh, this we can set up on no problem. And so long as we outspeed everyone, we should be getting one-shots left and right. No need to worry about missing either. Lots of cute Pokemon, I like it. Really? I know that's a weak Ice-type attack. Okay, yeah, Bugsy still gets it. Now, if this were a Technician Scyther, that would have one-shot. Persian might be faster than us. Yeah. Payday's weak, we probably survive. Cute signature move, but not very helpful. And look at that, Bugsy sweep. I already know we're getting the KO here. And a beautiful level up for Blocky too. No, you don't have a use for Recycle. Oh, so strong. Unless we wanted to try the arbitrary code execution exploits. That is not the goal here. Have y'all heard about that? They figured out ACE for FireRed, and that way you can just program new code into the game. People use it to warp to the Elite Four, though, quickly. Lucky egg for you. We'll keep Blocky leveling up a bit. I'll show you just how good you are. Not! I do like their fits. The purple and the red go together pretty well. Oh, we forgot to swap the Lucky Egg user into the first slot. Well, while we're here, I think Bugsy could use a bit... Well, never mind. Not with the paralysis. Though, you're still kind of our best option for the moment. We'll see who else can swap in. Come on, buddy. Alright, fine. Wonder if it's going to be that whole evolution line. Oh, wow, you've got a lot more of them back up. Okay. Well, we should outspeed everything on their team. Scyther's a pretty fast Pokemon. I think it's got, like, 105 base speed. If it wasn't for having such a horrible horrible typing, Scyther would have been a really, really good mon for a much longer time. And still has the Scizor base stat total as well. Like, it doesn't get higher stats when it evolves, it just gets, I guess you could say, a better typing and distribution of them. And even then, Eviolite makes Scyther pretty bulky. There you go, buddy. I'm furious! As am I. Victory Road is taking way too long to get through. Only the Chosen can pass here. I guess we would have had to fight one of them. Though the goal is to get every trainer that we can on the way through here. The more experience, the merrier. Really? Interesting. I didn't know Kingler got that. It's a simple strategy, but it works. There we go. I'll take that flinch. Looks like you're mostly a water-type trainer, so let's see. Either Kageyama or Blocky should be able to get through here just fine. Hey, can we get a... Nope. We don't receive a water-type attack here. And since you're not a Poliwrath yet... Poliwrath is another cool Pokemon. Water and fighting. We don't see that type combination enough. So the Ace trainers here are specializing in one type, it looks like. This one's water, the other one that was right next to you was grass. It was just normal typing on the one before us, right? It's cool to see them specializing. Of course, that means we usually have one Mon that can sweep their entire team. Yeah, all water. So are there any mechanics you're specifically enjoying a lot more, Tyr? In Barony? Like, do you see yourself becoming a spellcaster kind of person? Have you tried out Rogue? Rogue's really interesting, because you get a lot of the tinkering and lockpicking stuff to do, too. I played through with, well, just about every class at this point, except, like, Joker or Merchant. Just because those are more of gimmicks than anything else. Hermit's really fun, Tyr. I know you will learn to enjoy the power of Doc. Well, Duck's cool. Duck will, over a random time frame, distract enemies into swinging at it, and then that's when you attack the enemy with your shillelagh. Yeah, you still have the lucky egg for now. We're so close to the end, I know. I hope we are. So we cannot go forward through that way. Almost feels like Victory Road would be worth a stream all on its own. Well, now that we have that boulder dropped, I guess... Ah! Okay. The boulders respawning off screen messes with me so much. We're almost there. Already fought that guy, just need to go past him. It looks like that's a double battle right ahead of us. Our levels are still distributed really weirdly, so we will, luckily enough, be able to grab Zapdos at the beginning of the next one. Shillelagh won't degrade over time. It doesn't degrade with use. In order for Shillelagh to actually take damage, it requires, specifically anything that will damage it. It won't wear down just from you swinging it, if that's what you're worried about. Actually, you know what? I kind of like what Marissa's rocking with Nitri. They make a great pair. Yeah, usually if a class has a completely unique gimmick weapon, that weapon will not degrade over time. It's like that for the whip for the Punisher class as well. If it is a weapon that you do not otherwise normally find in the dungeon, they're gonna make it indestructible. Because they want you to use the gimmick. We're trying to become champions together. Okay, a double battle feels particularly climactic for right before we get to... Oh, only two of them. Okay. Just see who this doesn't end up KOing. Neither of them. Oh, never mind. A crit on that Nidoking with the lower defenses will work. And that powers up Revenge, so we should get really good damage off that, if not a KO. Barely. Thank you, Nitori. Poison pointing. Are all the double battles in this game only 2 mons on the enemy side? Good morning, Kahila. Welcome in. I've been wondering where you were. How you doing? I take it you have been sleeping really, really hard, and just now you're getting the chance to wake up. You came in right at the tail end of the stream, unfortunately, as much as I'd love to keep going for you. Once we get through with Victory Road, which this guy might be the last trainer. I have told myself I'm going to make it an end to the stream. We are already over the usual time limit. Lost your card holster? Did you lose any cards with it? I assume you're talking about something like a wallet, for example, right? Well, I hope you end up finding it. Your oh, wow. Hopefully that's not too difficult to replace. You should be proud of yourself, having battled your way through Victory Road so courageously. In recognition of your feat, I'll teach you Double Edge. We have no one on our team that wants it. Never mind, we didn't need to heal. That is the very end of our little romp here, so... Oh, why is it a maze? Why did they give us a maze? Why is this like this? There we go. Well, I hope you managed to recover what you need out of that, Kahila. Alright, so... we are here a little bit earlier than I was worried. Yo, champ in the making. At the Pokemon League, you will face the Elite Four all in a row. If you lose, you have to start all over again. This is it. Go for it. And yeah, we've got the Pokemart guy over here. Probably some cultural significance for having the maze? I could see that. Okay, funny that it reverts to the regular music once you get up here. From here on, you face the Elite Four one by one. If you win, a door opens to the next trainer. Good luck! So here's where we finally get to buy those full restores, but our... I think we get a much better deal just from having lots of we have plenty of Hyper Potions. We will want some more full heals. Let's just grab plenty of those that we won't have to worry about them ever again. Max potions are nice. We're not worried about using full restores in the middle of battle. I don't think... yeah, we almost have 200 HP on Dragonite, but Hyper Potion will... yeah, we can buy twice as many... but 2.5 times as many Hyper Potions as we can full restores. So, let's think, y'all. We have gotten our way to the Pokemon League here. But I think we have one more important thing we need to do before we challenge the Elite Four. I think we need one more friend to accompany us. Though it would... going out, grabbing all 3 legendary birds, and then returning with a full team of them would be Aura. That would be incredibly powerful. I think we need Nitori on the team the least for this. How many Ultra Balls are we carrying? Not enough. Let's go grab some more. But also, as you can see, Kahila, our Dragonair has evolved into Dragonite, and we are doing quite well for ourselves. We actually, just earlier on the stream, Kahila, we carved our way through Mount Ember, so... while we were trying to level up Dragonair into Dragonite, We were spending the entire first half of the stream making sure we could do that. And we did push our way through to get up to Moltres. If you look further back, probably about an hour in the stream VOD, you will see that we did get to Moltres, and then they were like, oh, yeah, we'll turn around. $50 Ultra Balls should be enough. We are running out of Dosh rapidly. Yeah, because of weird FireRed stuff, we ended up getting to the Sevi Islands right after the 7th gym. Local man confuses bird. Alright. So I think we're officially at that point, as per the vote from a few weeks ago. We're gonna get ourselves ready to encounter... Wait, no, we want to get one slot open so that we can check Zapdos' stats right after we catch it. We'll need Scyther, we'll need Executor. We will keep Sidewinder on our team just for having, like, the best defensive stuff. I think Marissa specifically doesn't have much to do to contribute to this fight. Everyone else has a pretty good niche. If only we had an Eviolite. An Eviolite Dragonair with Rest would have been able to tank Zapdos forever. It's funny how effective Sleep is at capturing wild Pokemon because it prevents them from taking turns and losing their own power points. On that other ROM hack I've been playing lately, the first encounter I did have with Zapdos got to the point of struggling. It just went on for that long. Oh, great. The upgrade for Blocky, I take it? Yeah, let's not have Magneton on the first slot. Use some more repels while we're here. I mean, I know the upgrade is somewhere post-game. It's somewhere on the Sevi Islands. I know that because I did end up getting a Porygon 2 on my original playthrough of FireRed. Same thing with the Metal Coat. I think you find it at that place where that guy buried his Onyx. I think it was something about, like, him having the Metal Coat to turn it into a Steelix at some point. Wow, this is so much easier with using the repels. Okay. So here's our strategy for next time. Magneton in front. Spam as much Flash as possible. We do not get Screech in this game, I don't think. I know in the ROM hack I was playing, you could get Screech on Magneton at a pretty decent level, I believe. Magneton was in the 80s, right? I'm looking for the Dex intro. There we go, 82. No, we do get Screech, but it's at level 53, which... Well, that would be leveling up Magneton near where we have some of our best mons. We'll be alright. So we want to spam Flash as much as possible. Get as much resistance out just from having a quadruple resistance to Drill Peck. Probably get a few sparks to get Zapdos on low health. Then, after maxing out on Flashes, then we switch over to Scyther. False Swipe to minimum health, switch to Executor, Sleep Powder, and then continue from there. Alright, y'all. We've had a bit of a longer than normal stream, which on top of starting a little bit later, I am not allowing myself to spend too much time here. Let's go ahead and set y'all up with a raid as soon as possible. No stream scheduled for tomorrow, but depending on circumstances, I might just go ahead and have a vibe night in the Discord with y'all. We have some very, very good things happening soon with the schedule changes. I do believe Most of y'all would have seen the announcement that I had earlier for y'all in the Discord server. You rest well too, Kahila, and I hope you recover your cards. Then on Thursday and Friday, we are continuing a lot of the things that we've been doing previously. Yeah, Silksong and Tomodachi. Explicitly, there will not be a stream on Saturday night, but I'd like to fit in something cool on Sunday night, just as a little surprise with me having the good news. I have a little bit more energy to spare. I'll see if Hughes and Tier want to do some Barony then. Otherwise, it'll probably be game dev or fighting game things. Or maybe even Tomodachi again. Tomodachi's been a blast. I've been playing on my non-streamer profile, and I gotta spend a little bit of time getting more of y'all in there. Maybe that's just what we end up doing a lot on Friday. Spending the time to add in all the friends and getting all the extra little touch-ups. I've been trying to get a lot of the daily items and touching up some friends, but I am getting a lot of unlocked cutscenes and stuff popping up on Tomodachi, and I don't want to accelerate past that stuff on stream in case, you know, in case something legendary happens. We did save, I believe, but just in case, I'm going to do that again. And who is streaming anything interesting? Bella's doing some Core Keeper right now, which is always nice. Let's see if we got any other... we might just be raid... Yeah, it is looking like a raid in on Bella DeWitch. Alright, our raid message should be... Thinking. Classic brain is incredible. Yeah, we'll just keep it as the smell you later. Which they should be able to get what that is referring to. Alright, got the message on both Twitch and YouTube. Let me grab their handle for YouTube. Alright, y'all. Thank you so much, so dearly for your attendance. Class is dismissed. Oh, well, just real quick, because I do see that we've gotten a lot more concurrent viewers here at the tail end. This is something that's been on my mind for a while. I've been wanting to be able to stream later for y'all, and some of y'all didn't get to catch me talking about it at the beginning of stream. With the schedule change, there are going to be plenty of times in which I'm able to stay up later, so expect it to be... Like, optimally, it's probably only going to be 3 or 4 streams a week, but I should be able to make them last longer. There are some shifts I'm going to have which will be closing, and that might mean that I have to start streaming right about, well, 30 minutes from now, 30 or 40 minutes from now would be when I'd get to start streaming if I came home and started streaming immediately after work. So, for some things like fighting games and other things that we don't gotta worry about the story with, y'all might get to see Night Gremlin hours where we pop in at like 11 p.m. and start streaming from them, which I know can work for a lot of y'all. And I think in general, there's more people watching late at night than around dinner time when I'm usually streaming, so I'm excited to experiment with it a little bit. Alright. Thank you everyone so dearly for your attendance. Class is now officially dismissed.